Hi, I'm Vanessa Vi.
I'm Vanessa Markov.
And we're here at Mediazoic Studios with Greg and Bill of Treble.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for coming. We're very excited to have you here. You played your first show back in a long time at Phoenix the other night, which was fantastic. We were both there. How does it feel being back on stage after so long?
It reminded me of how much I miss being adored by thousands of people. It was exciting. And you know what it was? I don't know how you feel, but it felt like it was like 2 months of build-up, and then it just like flew right by.
Yeah, totally
like,
flew by.
Wait a second, that's it? I want to do this again.
It flew by, and that was probably the longest set we've ever played.
Yeah, that's
Really?
pretty long.
Well, it seemed like you guys were having the absolute time of your lives up there.
And we were playing a lot of songs that night that we normally... There's probably some songs we probably never played.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. That was part of getting back together again, was to play stuff that we kind of wanted to play.
Yeah.
Cool. Which was obviously very well received.
Yeah.
Great crowd
there
that night.
There seemed to be some younger fans, too. It was like a nice mix of both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Old fans and new fans.
Awesome. So why did you guys choose to reunite?
Just for the money, really.
Well said.
Well, I mean, after 9 years, there's got to be kind of a reason to come back and play. Is this like a one-off?
Yeah, I think the genesis was about a year ago when they were doing the Toronto Junos, and they were having a series at the Horseshoe.
Oh, yeah,
and
that is true.
I was playing with a band, and
That's
then
right, I saw you
I was there. Yeah.
and we
I
were
remember
so
that.
Greg and I were talking and saying and you said, do you want to get together? And it was only like 3 weeks away at the time, and I said, well, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't think this is the time. Let's do it when we have lots of time to get everything together. So then...
You're right. That was the genesis for it, because they did ask us. The Juno people asked us if we'd play, and then the Indie Awards came up, and they contacted us saying that they were going to induct us into the Indie Hall of Fame, and they asked if we wanted to play 2 songs, and that sort of led to, well, if we're going to get together and learn 2 songs, then maybe we should put feelers out there to see if maybe people are interested in an entire show.
Which they were. The response was amazing. There was so much crowd support and people singing back even before you guys started singing parts, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was good to I bet you were wondering whether if you stopped singing Red, if anyone was going to be there singing it.
Yeah.
The crowd. I was surprised the whole place was singing it.
No, it was great. I think I even got a little video clip of that part. It was just so moving to hear everybody in unison and like really enjoying themselves and loving every moment. So with that, with how much you guys obviously loved being on stage, is this something that is a one-off, or are you guys planning to stick around for a little while? Because it's obvious that the fans really enjoyed it and would want more.
I guess we're being really coy about this answer. I think there may very well be some shows in the summer.
Awesome.
Yeah, probably festival shows.
Okay.
It's nothing that we have to have the pressure of going out and headlining across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Festivals are nice. It's you play in the middle of the bill and
and you go out for a weekend at the most, and then
fly out, hang out with a bunch of bands backstage. That's the fun stuff.
In the sunshine.
Any plans to write new material?
One thing at a time.
Right on. So I know that you've been very active in the music scene while on hiatus and working with a lot of up-and-coming bands. Can you tell us a bit about what's been keeping you busy over the past 9 years and highlight that?
Well, so I started getting into producing kind of in the middle of towards the end of Treble Charger, thanks to Matt Hyde, who was a producer of 2 albums of ours, too, right?
Yeah.
And he really taught me a lot and got me very interested in the production side. And from that, I did some 41 stuff, and then Headley and Mariana's Trench and a bunch of Canadian bands. And that's all I do, pretty much. That's all I've been doing since then to now, is sitting in a studio just like that, in the control room, yelling at bands, writing songs with them, playing guitar all the time. I mean, it's constant. It's not like we've ever walked away from music at all. If anything, I'm more involved in music now than I even was when I was in Treble Charger. And Bill's been active.
Can you tell us a bit about what you've been up to?
Well, I play. I'm sort of I call myself a founding non-member of Broken Social Scene.
Right on.
So,
Okay.
Very cool. That's
So
interesting.
I'm a kind of fourth alternate guitarist for.
I like
So
that,
I did
a
a-
founding non-member.
Yeah,
You helped start that
yeah,
band.
yeah.
It's true.
And then I left.
Yeah,
And
so then you left.
What was the story behind that? That's fascinating.
I guess it was like probably 1999, 2000. I met Kevin, and then I played on a little tiny parts on the first before the Broken Social Scene. Kevin had a thing called Casey Accidental. I played on that. I played on the first Broken Social Scene record called Feel Good Lost. I played a little bit on You Forgot It and People, and I did a tour of Europe with Kevin on his solo record a couple of years back, and we did this Neil Young tribute thing for the Vancouver Olympics. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome. That must have been a huge stage to
Yeah,
play
that
on
was awesome.
Vancouver
It was like
Olympics.
Lou Reed, Elvis Costello, Ron Sexsmith, just all these people. It was amazing.
Right on. So going on that and huge stages, you guys have been all over the world, had a long career. Where's your favorite place to play, either venue or city? Where's been like the absolute most fun?
In Canada, I think Halifax.
Yeah, totally Halifax. It's got this like
Yeah.
music vibe to it. I think it goes back to just it's that tradition of like people playing in kitchens at parties, and the crowd just seems to be really musical.
And in the States, always New York City to me was
Yeah.
like the most exciting thing, dude. Whenever you're playing in New York and Manhattan, you just you can't help feel like maybe you're kind of making it. Or it kind of makes you feel a
And
little
you
bit.
kind of, you fly there and you get out of the cab downtown and you're wired into the city. It's got this electricity. And we were lucky enough to play the Mercury Lounge a couple of places, which is one of these fantastic sounding, amazing small clubs.
I don't even know if it's still
downtown.
around. I don't know.
I think it's still
We'll have to
around.
look
Yeah,
into that.
and Brownies. We used to play
Brownies.
Brownies in the East Village a
Yeah.
few times. That's always fun to go down there. We toured the States quite a bit with Dandy Warhols one time, which I count as one of my favorite tours.
Yeah, that was
I ever
a
did.
lot of fun.
That was like a really special time, I think.
And we were hitting all the like really cool indie rock venues, the 40 Watt Club in Athens and 930 Club in DC and all these great places.
And we did the Foo Fighters tour, but Foo Fighters was great, but it was just a little too crazy. It was the Dandy Warhols, like we really hung out with that band a
Yeah.
lot. We became really close to them, and I have fond memories of it. And Foo Fighters is exciting, except you never really get to meet them. Especially Dave Grohl. He's always running off doing something.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you guys came out in the 90s, I know I was a kid at the time, and I discovered you guys on Much Music and on the
Same.
radio. And, I mean, back then there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no Mediazoic. How do you feel that the digital era has affected online, or basically music promotion and your reach and fanship?
The holy grail was getting on a major label, because otherwise it seemed like you couldn't really. It's not like today where you can, a band like Arcade Fire can have a huge career being on an independent label and actually probably make way more money selling records than, I think Arcade Fire probably makes more money selling records than Lady Gaga, because they have a 50-50 deal. They sell 1 million records. They get
Oh yeah, absolutely.
bam.
It's funny. Like there were social media avenues. Like there were like for punk bands and stuff. Like there was a magazine called Maximum Rock and Roll, which was always like a way of getting your
Yeah.
band out there. And I guess. But
There was zines instead of
zines were a
Right,
big
instead
thing.
of
blogs.
That's
Sorry,
right.
that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, zines, and we were like, remember, like that
Yeah,
was
we
a
always
big part
did.
of.
We always did zine interviews and loved doing zine interviews and getting people's little handmade zines.
Which really isn't that different than
Yeah.
blogs.
Exactly.
they're the same thing. And there used to be like just as many. Like there was a lot of kids would have zines, and they would always have, those zines would go out to, whatever 200 or 300 kids that they send stuff out to, and you get a bunch of people doing that. It's the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I've never even
just
thought about that, actually.
Yeah, it just changes to a digital format.
Yeah.
Zines were created by fans, and so are blogs.
Yeah.
And so are
right.
blogs, and really, I'm not even under exaggerating it. There were a lot of kids doing zines, like almost to me like the same amount as you get people coming up that are blogging about you now.
Yeah.
But I guess the other difference is, like, to me, the great thing, the sort of unfortunate thing is the file sharing that's happening, and nobody's buying music anymore.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I find like the access to music now is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's never been like this before ever. Like that you
true.
can go and pretty much find anything you want to hear now, and
From
that's
across the world.
from anywhere. Yeah.
And send them an email and be right in touch with them as if
Yeah.
they're sitting in the same room.
Just turn on your computer, and there's the whole world's catalog right before you.
Yeah. I just wish people were buying it.
So
Dang.
then would you say that the internet is your major source of where you find your new music and new things that you're listening
Oh
to?
yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean that and word of mouth probably.
Yeah.
Like
But still for me, word of mouth is.
Yeah.
I don't think
kind
that
of
ever disappears.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I think that's kind of what makes things go viral anyways. It's
Yeah.
always word of mouth. Probably more now than it even used to be.
Yeah.
Well, it can happen instantly these days too.
Yeah.
I mean, word
but
of mouth
you know-
was literally word of mouth,
Yeah.
and now it's like you press a
digital-
button
digital
and
word of
millions of
mouth.
people.
And there's a
have
lot
it.
to pick from now, which is, a lot of people bring that up, that it's just flooded. There's so much more music out there compared to what there used to be. But on the other hand, it's like, but it's also like, it's really like the cream rises to the top now. Like when something's good, it you kind of really hear about it because so many people start talking about it.
But at the same time, I feel with the industry being so flooded, it is a bit of a challenge too for those real talented artists to
get
rise
noticed.
to the top because of all the things you have to sift through,
Yeah, I know.
so to speak.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy. I know this is always like the big $1 million question. Like so many bands I work with, that I produce, or I'll write with, and there's been bands where I just think, wow, this band is fantastic, and then nothing happens with them.
And then
It's
somebody
hard.
who's not necessarily as great gets a lucky break, and
Yeah.
the next month they're on the top of the world.
Yeah.
But again, that hasn't changed either. I mean,
Nope.
there's just as many bands that weren't worthy of being signed to a major would get signed,
Yeah.
and bands that were far better would get ignored.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that still happens all too much these days, I think. But the whole digital aspect is giving, the power to the band. So they don't really need that major label to break them anymore. They
Yeah.
can sit there and do all the work themselves because they can access any company in the world from right at home.
I always look at like Broken Social Scene too. Like they were so clever on so many levels. They to me they really knew how to work the internet almost. Like I thought the way that they did their visuals and the kind of vibe that they created around what Broken Social Scene was. To me, that is clever marketing in today's internet world.
It's almost like with all the access to the internet and being able to do everything yourselves as a band, now it's not just about making great music and having a great live show. It's about building a business around your band and
create a
not
vibe.
having to answer to anyone else and think, okay, well, what am I going to do
And
to
make
get
it
my
unique,
music out there?
and make it yours, and make it something that's not
Like
like
a
everything
community.
else. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and I thought they did that beautifully.
Oh, absolutely. And it definitely paid off, obviously, with how well they're doing.
Along with Pitchfork, which I
Yeah.
just kind of learned about, but I guess that really helped them too.
Who are some artists that you guys are listening to right now that you really like?
I'm totally out of the loop when it comes to like something that no one else has heard before. I mean, I'm really into Fucked Up right now.
Cool.
They're great. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. I don't buy a lot of new stuff, but I guess if it had to be something brand new, I liked that Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros or whatever that was. You know this band?
No, I've not
heard the name.
Jeez, man, I thought this band
That's a
was-
really
I asked
cool
you
name,
too the
though.
other day, and
I've
I
heard
thought they were way bigger. Oh, do you know this band? Yeah, okay. That band really took me by surprise. I thought they had a real unique sound, something I hadn't heard a lot before.
But then here again is that digital flooding issue. You think everybody's heard of them and they're great, and here I am thinking I'm in touch with music and totally out of the loop. So there's
I'm
so much
surprised
out
too,
there.
actually, that I always thought that band was a lot bigger. But then again, it's hard to tell these days. What's
Definitely.
big and what isn't? Who knows? Like you don't really hear sales numbers anymore.
Yeah.
Those,
No,
that's
it's
gone.
it's downloads and likes and hits and
Yeah, likes. That's right.
exactly.
So, from a fan's point of view, a lot of people tend to believe that, a musician's lifestyle is all about partying and having a good time. They see you on stage for the most part and they think that that's your life, but it's clearly not the case. There's a lot of work involved, long hours.
No,
thankless
it's pretty
hours.
much the case. It is long hours. No, I know where you're going with this.
It's a lot of hard work, and but when you're working those long hours, it's easy to get burnt out, and you have to have fun and unwind sometimes. And it's hard to get involved in your favorite activities when you're on the road all the time. So my question is, how do you guys have fun when you're on the road?
Well, we
it's
haven't.
been 9 years.
Yeah, we haven't been on the road. Mine was I just had no fun and I was no fun. So
Aw.
I'm planning to be more fun if we get back on the road.
Yeah. I think we always had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
It's the touring thing is it's a crazy little animal. It's you can really think about the one thing you can count on touring is showing up at the next venue and there's going to be a case of beer there more than there'll ever be more than there'll be a bottle of water or food.
Yeah.
There'll be
always
a
be
case
of beer.
booze
Always gonna be
there.
beer.
And next thing you know, you're an alcoholic and you're home and
Yeah.
you're thinking, why am I drinking right now? I'm not even on the road anymore. And it turns you into a party animal, whether you want it or not.
On that topic of unwinding on tour and having some fun, I know a lot of bands fall victim to pranks from other touring bands that
Yeah.
they're with. For instance,
We
I
never
heard
did
the
that
guys from My Darkest Days were on tour with Hinder, and while Sal's doing some solo, they went out and put like one of the scrims right in front of him, and he couldn't move, and so he's soloing behind a scrim, and they're like making fun of him. So has anything like that? Have you played any pranks or had any really good pranks played on you?
I think the Gob nailed us one time, didn't they?
Yeah, I
On
can't
a
Seemed
tour,
tight.
like they came out with shaving cream or something.
Maybe, I don't remember. It's all a blur to me.
I don't know. I don't remember. I know. When I was managing Sum 41, that band was really big on doing stuff like that. They were pranksters, so a lot of that would happen, and I would witness in that band.
What were some good ones that they pulled? I'm very curious.
Well, this one was.
We won't tell
There's some dirty ones.
That's what we want to hear. Give us the
No,
dirt.
like this is real nasty stuff.
That's okay, we're uncensored.
It's the internet. There's no censorship here.
They once. This is bad. They once snuck into. So they were all on tours, and when you're on a bus tour, a lot of times you'll shower like at these big arenas that you pull into and play. So they went in and packed the shower heads with their poop. And so that the band had a time in their change
Oh my
room.
goodness.
So when they turned, I thought that was genius, actually.
That is
I was
pretty
like, who
genius.
thought of that?
Which one did think of that?
I don't know,
We need to
but
tweet
they
them and give them
completely nailed
props.
that whole band.
Oh my goodness. Now, did the band seek revenge?
Yeah, I don't know where that all ended up.
Wow. That's crazy. I've never even would have imagined that.
Yeah, that was great.
My goodness.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We really
We're ending on the
appreciate it.
poop story?
Nice.
All right.
I wanted something epic. Hey, if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, we're all ears.
No, I'm pretty
No,
good.
we're
Awesome.
Maybe, we'll see you soon in a town nearby.
I hope so. I really
Please
enjoyed the
do.
show at the Phoenix, and so did the rest of the audience. So I'm sure the rest of Toronto hopes that you guys will be back.
Yeah.
More
Sure
than
we
just a
will.
one-off.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you so much.